Hi. Alright, so I scripted the rest of the other ones, and reason stands I could have scripted this one too, but I recorded this one first. And I recorded it first because my initial plan was I was going to go through the movies and watch them all again, but due to mental and emotional limitations, I didn't do that. But even still, when I recorded this, I thought I was still going to do that. But I knew for a fact that I wasn't going to watch this one again. And I knew that for two things. Well, a couple of things. One, the movie is a little over 3 hours long. That's a long time. Two, for a movie that is 3 hours long, it doesn't really warrant a lot of rewatchability. Like, of course, there are moments and stuff that I would love to rewatch, but the entire movie, yeah, no, it's not much for rewatchability. And three, as it is, the last movie that I saw with my mother. I don't want to do that to myself twice, because I was already super emotional. And as you're about to hear. So yeah. Fair warning, this is gonna be about 40 minutes of me being really sad and missing my mother. Unscripted. You have been warned. I've been trying to do this for like 2 weeks. I can't do it. I can't edit it. So it's not that I can't edit it. I can't watch the movie again to edit it. So it like resembles the past 5 films. Yeah, I can't do it. So please enjoy pretty color as stock footage until the end. There's a joke at the end, and I can't edit that. So sorry for 30 minutes of unrelated footage. Today I was having an emotionally good day, so I decided to tackle the last, chronologically, I decided to tackle that one today. And it is the last chronologically because it is the last movie that I saw with my mom. Of course, I didn't know it was going to be the last movie I saw with my mom, but it was, and that is Avengers Endgame. Now, in preparation for this episode, I did watch Infinity War. It didn't really have any connection with my mom, other than it came out around the time she was diagnosed with cancer. But other than that, not really any connection. Though there was one thing of note, and that's kind of the through line of me watching Endgame, is that I, in Infinity War and Endgame, relate heavily to Thor. In Infinity War, he had this line that I really connected with, because it's like kind of my motto. He was just like, I am 1500 years old, and I have killed or fought 3 times that amount of people, and in all of those people, no one has succeeded in killing me. I've lived through all of that, plus the death of my mother, the death of my father, the death of half of my people, and the death of my brother. So clearly, the universe wants me alive for something, and I relate to that. I haven't vanquished 1,000 foes or even 44 foes, because that's double my age. But I have experienced a lot of deaths and a lot of other things that have, in the words of my best friend, make other people murderers or make them, end their lives prematurely. And I haven't done that. So clearly, the universe wants me alive for something. But now that we have the one bit of relevance of Infinity War out of the way, let's get to the main course of Endgame. And I'm recording this literally right after I got done watching the movie. Well, I didn't really finish it. I just stopped with 20 minutes left because Tony's funeral happened. And I didn't really want to watch anymore. Okay. Alright. So, I saw Endgame about a week after it came out. It came out in May. The beginning of May. And I had to see it a week after it came out. Because my mom wasn't feeling well on the day that we were going to see it. I mean, she wasn't feeling well all of May. That was the last month that she was alive. But she particularly wasn't feeling well on the day that we bought the tickets. And because she wasn't feeling well on the day that we bought the tickets, I was like, no, you know what? We don't have to see it. We can see it when you feel better. But she was insistent. So, the day after we were supposed to see it, she bought the tickets again. She couldn't walk, so I had to wheel her into the theater. It was mostly empty, except for like two rows behind us. It's kind of like our own private screening, which is appropriate. And as the movie started, I did my best to not think about the fact that my mom was so fucking tired. Also, going into this viewing today, it occurred to me that I haven't seen this movie since it came out. So with that knowledge, I immediately knew that this was going to be fun. It was going to be emotional. The beginning, where they succeeded. Well, they killed Thanos. I remember it being really fucking heartbreaking for me. And I also think it was heartbreaking for my mom. I remember her being like oh, well, what's like the rest of the movie? The movie's 3 hours long. And they killed Thanos within the first 10. There aren't many times where me and my mom where we exchange looks or exchange glances, and I'll get to that when I get to that. The next note I have is that very quickly, when Tony was going on a bit of a tangent, it dawned on me that this movie would have a lot of in terms of Tony, in terms of parallels, Tony is my mom or the situation is how I viewed my mom. Because in the movie we have Tony, he's all he starts the movie pretty down bad, pretty sick or whatever. Then he gets better and it's hopeful. We're optimistic about the outcome because we see him with his family and it seems like his life's good. He got better. He's doing better. And so you're hopeful that, at the end, he won't perish. That's kind of how I was those last 10 days with my mom. She was so sick. Like I said, she was tired. She had to be wheeled into the fucking movie theater. But I was 100% certain that she wasn't gonna die. And I'm pretty sure, except like the fanboys who are just like, Robert Downey Jr.'s fucking contract is up, so of course he's gonna die. I wasn't one of those people. I was hopeful that he wasn't gonna die. Also, jumping back a bit before we see Tony with his family, after the fact, after seeing this movie, after my mom's death, hearing Captain's words of like, we just gotta find space. We gotta find it within ourselves to move on, move forward. And I find those words heartwarming because it's like, 5 years have passed. You've kind of had time to sort of like sit with the grief of whoever the fuck you lost. So yeah, that's solid advice. It's great advice. It's advice a bunch of people gave me immediately after my mom's death. So it's solid advice. It's good advice, It's heartwarming in that sense. But it's also enraging because it's like, don't tell me to move on. That I have to move on. Like, I just suffered loss, man. So shut the fuck up. So yeah, but who knows? Like, way down the line, 5 years after this tragedy, except for, right now it's 2. So maybe 3 years from now, I will fully be like, yeah, that's heartwarming, good advice. But 2 years out, yeah, fuck you, Steve. My next note is about Scott, Ant-Man. Cause listening to his, him sort of proposing time travel, I remember I was like, oh fuck, oh shit, that's like great. Time travel is amazing. I'm a Doctor Who fan, so I think time travel instantly makes everything better, opposed to everyone else who's just like, oh my god, if you add time travel, you're a horrible writer and it sucks and you're not gonna do it right. I think time travel is dope. It makes me happy. It's my comfort trope. So yeah, when he mentioned it, I remember being very hopeful and being like, oh my god, this is gonna work. This is gonna make everything better. But hearing it this time around, I didn't feel that hope. I was just waiting for the inevitable. And, if I could go back to that day where I saw this movie for the first time with my mom, I probably wouldn't be as invested in the movie. In fact, to be honest, I'd probably whale her out so we could go see something else. Endgame being the last movie you saw together, that is disgustingly fitting. I'd want to see other movies with my mom. In fact, it's one of the biggest things that I miss. Seeing movies with my mom. I don't even see movies as regularly as I did. And I don't even mourn that fact because what's the fucking point if she's not here? But moving right along. I have a writing congratulations prop to give. The scene where Tony discovers time travel and he's talking to Pepper about it. And he's like, I could lock it up. I could lock it up right now and just throw it in the lake. Go to bed. And Pepper is like, but will you be able to rest? And it's a very powerful line, pointing out Tony's hero nature. And then, it coincides very good with the line she says at the end, you can rest now. That's a nice callback, but we'll get to my genuine feelings about that line later. Back to Thor, though. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Thor is a vibe. Infinity War, Endgame, vibe. I'm sure he's also a vibe in Thor Ragnarok, but that doesn't connect to my mother, so we're not talking about that right now. But here, a whole fucking vibe, because he is the character. He feels like this is his fault. He is the reason that this bad thing happened, because he didn't go for the head. And so that's like, for the past 5 years, that's just been tormenting this dude, and he's self-medicating and all of that, and he's down bad, truly. And that's a vibe, because logically I know that my mom's death isn't my fault, but still, maybe I could have made her last days better, last year better, more correctly, because I most definitely think it is it's crazy. I guess I've grown, because I can't really even genuinely finish that sentence. But there was a time, I'll frame it like that. There was a time when I genuinely thought, with all of my heart of hearts, now it's about 20% of my heart, that it was my fault that my mom died, or that I made her last year on earth worse. And my evidence for that was that, I made it so bad that she felt that I was incapable of love. And that hurt. And fueled my guilt after she died. But like Thor, I took that guilt and just tried to shove it deep down. And self-medicated it in my own way. Not with alcohol or drugs or anything like that. Something entirely different. And way more harmful for the mental circumstance that I was in. I brought this up in my notes, because it's the scene where Hulk and Rocket go to pick up Thor, and Thor is he's very jovial, just very oh guys, he's like, my boys, welcome, I got drinks, what you want, vodka, tequila, beer, I got other things, he probably doesn't, and he's not happy, but he's putting on a happy face, and that's what I did, shit, man. After my mom died, I just steamrolled through all of my emotions, so much to the point that I did not process my mom's death until this year. It was actually me, starting to process my mom's death that came up with this idea. Fun fact. But yeah, but my exact note about that scene was, Thor is me. He's happy until he's triggered. Because the second Hulk mentioned Thanos, Thor was like, don't you say that. Why would you say that name? I'm sorry. Gotta laugh where I can. Even if that's the wrong superhero movie. But yeah, he's immediately triggered. And he's all angry. And that was kind of me. Say triggering phrase, and I'm down for the count. I'm either about to kill you, or just waterfall from my eyeballs. And then just any scene with Thor, I connected with on the I've spent years avoiding the grieving process, and now I'm thrust into a scenario in which I constantly have to face it, and it sucks, and I don't know how to deal with that, really. So him breaking down because he realized that he's lost everyone again, as well as his girlfriend, that was a vibe. Also the scene with his mother, where his mother is like, you're not an idiot, a failure, yes, but everyone's a failure. And then her final words of, be the man that you want to be. I said the scenario there earlier. Yeah, if I could go back and see my mom. And she would greet, if she were able to greet me with that sense of wise resolve. And she told me to be the man that I want to be. That would be nice. I probably put that line there in my notes because that was a big thing. And processing that I am trans. That was a big thing. That my mom isn't here. That I won't know, at least not concretely, if she would accept me and me being myself. And I'm aware that some people would say that's like, that's a positive. In case you wouldn't, you don't have to deal with that angst, face the rejection if she wouldn't accept you. But still, I don't want to know. I want to know. I just want an excuse to talk to her again, to be honest. No. Guardians. The part where they go get the Power Stone and Quail is singing like a fucking dumbass on this very important mission. I bring that up because I remember in the theater when that happened, I started singing, or I squealed. That's what I did. I squealed, and I woke my mother up because she had fallen asleep because she was very tired. Cancer makes you very tired. For all of you who don't fucking know, it is literally sucking up your life force. So she was very tired. And I woke her up with my squealing. And then I apologized. And she said it was fine. We're going to talk about Guardians later. Because that is a movie on the list. Alrighty. Slight pause from the connections with the mother. This is very strong. It was strong enough for me to write it down. That Clint should have died. I believe that with my whole heart. I remember me and my mom talking about it, but I don't remember where she fell on the argument. Honestly, she probably didn't, because like I said, she was asleep for most of it. And it is now dawning on me, she was probably so adamant about us seeing it, mainly for me, not for her. She said it was for her, but, the woman was tired. Okay, my voice is not going to sound pumped while I say this. But after the snap happened, I did get very pumped, like rewatching it. When it happened in the movie theater, like when the first time I saw it, it was, my God, it was brazy. When the snap happened, I thought it was very nice and wonderful. Even though I knew that Thanos was rounding up his forces. Even though I knew that the nebula that was there was the fake. And while there were intercuts of her gearing up to have them transported to present day. The scene with Scott looking at the birds, and there are like a bunch of them. Or even Clint's wife calling him. I remember those scenes. Those two images. They warmed my heart. And then I got knocked the fuck out when that fucking blast came through the fucking window. I thought everyone was dead. I was like, oh my God. They just snapped everyone back into existence and they died. That's fucked. But yeah, my note for that was like, the snap has just occurred and I'm pumped. And I was pumped because I knew the dope ass shit that was coming, such as Captain America getting a few good ass licks in on Thanos with the fucking hammer. Thor being a fucking G. The big three attempting to kick Thanos' ass was dope as fuck. But you know what was doper? Do you know what was fucking doper? Them niggas coming through them rings. And I mean it literally, cause it was first Black Panther that came through the ring, singing fucking Wambe. And I know I said it wrong, but that happened, and I freaked the fuck out, and I cried, and I was like, oh my fucking god, it's so fucking amazing. Anytime anyone brings that scene up, even if, like, and they don't even gotta show it, they just gotta bring it up, I immediately, energy shoots through my body. I get excited. I want to go on a jog. I hate running, but it makes me want to do a lap. That is how excited I get. Now, when the shit happened in theaters, I cried. I fucking cried. I cried like a little baby. I usually do a little, like, if a movie makes me cry, it's usually like, you know, my eyes water a bit. I may do a little, but nah, this shit, I started bawling, and I was so excited that I forgot my mom was resting. Because when I woke her up the first time, I sort of made a little peace treaty with myself that I was like, I'm not gonna wake her up. But I was so excited, I started tapping her, just unconsciously. And she woke up. And I looked at her. She looked at me and she smiled. And she squeezed my hand. And I was like, they're back. And she was like, I see. I felt bad for waking her up. I did. It's kind of all I could think about for the rest of the movie. That I woke her up. And I also felt sad because she didn't see it. She just saw her child crying of happiness and a little sadness. I'm not gonna be honest. After that scene happened, I kind of wanted to turn the movie off. I didn't, though. I was gonna see it through. Now, we've gotten to the callback of Pepper being like, you can rest now. Now, I'm curious to know what my reaction would have been had Ashley, a YouTuber I watch, not spoiled that line for me, so to speak. Because for those of you who don't know, me in the line, you can rest now, the full line is, we're okay, you can rest now. Those two phrases consecutively, I got beef with them. Because I have said those phrases more than I would like. I said them when I was 9 to my grandfather, who died of lung cancer. Me and my grandmother sat by his bedside and said it. And then, an hour after, me and my mom left my grandparents' house, he died. I said them to my mother after the doctor confirmed that her liver had failed, and therefore the cancer had won, and that she was gonna die that night. Again, I sat by her bedside. I held her hand and kissed her on the forehead and said, you could stop fighting. I'm gonna be okay. And I've said them like at least 3 times to my grandmother. I said them when she had her stroke. I said them when she regained consciousness from her stroke 6 months after it. And I said them to her over the phone at my friend's house. Because she called and asked me to say them to her. Yeah, I hate those words now. I do. Like I can say that I'm gonna be okay. I can say that. But if it's I'm gonna be okay, you can rest now. Them's fighting words. Mainly because they are the biggest lie in all of history. Like, especially if you're saying them to a close relative. Like, I'm not gonna be okay. It's like, it's a lie that you say to them in hopes that they pass on peacefully. So they can pass on peacefully without regrets, without baggage, so they don't become ghosts and just haunt this material plane, which is great. That's a good wish for whoever the fuck has died. But I'm not gonna be okay. In fact, it's gonna be a couple years before I'll be okay. And that is if I am actively trying to be okay. And I don't want to be okay. Not at first. Not when I say those words. I don't want to be okay. It's gonna hurt. Because I want you here. But you're not gonna be here, so I'm not gonna be okay. I'm tired of saying those words, man. I'm tired of lying to people and saying I'm going to be okay. If you die, I'm going to be okay. Because I'm not. I really fucking miss my mom, man. And you know, for a year, I tried to apply logic to the situation. I tried. I said a lot of things like, I'm growing, I'm healing. And I tried to convince myself that those were things that I couldn't do if she was here. That was my way of coping. That was my way of trying to convince myself that I was okay. Even though the only family I actively claimed outside of my 6-year-old little brother was gone. My last note on Endgame is, out of all the movies, this is the only one where they actively show a funeral. And I found that interesting. That it's a superhero movie that shows the funeral. Because there are only 2 superhero movies on this list. The other one, well, you'll know the time this comes out. They're teen dramas about death. So you'd think they'd have a funeral. Nope. It's just this one. Which, thanks to this one's funeral, we'll end this on a moment of levity. The moment of levity that Tony Stark's funeral brought to us is funeral director Carol Danvers. I'm not calling her a funeral director because she organized this funeral. She didn't. But the the shot of her on the stairs. Hands clasped at the hip. And her legs hip width apart stance. This woman is not moving. Honestly, they probably just like edit her in. But the way she is standing just screams the funeral director. They just gotta stand off to the side at the wake. That is like, I do not know the person who died personally, but I am very sorry for your loss. Bro, I know the exact thing. It's like, okay, there's like two parts. I've been to a lot of funerals, so I know this. There are two parts in which the funeral director has to like, is at the forefront, and it is like at the wake when they're standing off to the side, kind of near the casket, but not like respectfully distanced away from the casket, and they're standing there just how Carol was standing, stance, like I said, tire stance, screaming, I do not know this person, but I am very sorry for your loss. Like, I have no emotional connection to this situation, but I am very sorry to your loss. And then the second part is when it depends where the family wants to put it in the program, if they want to have it at all. Though certain funeral places, I know the one that was used for my mom and my great grandma's funeral, they're like, you will know that we handled this shit. There's a point in the program in which the funeral director gets up in front of the grieving mass, who literally do not give a flying shit. They stand up in front of everyone and they're like, hello, I am the director of insert funeral home here. In this time of bereavement, we would like to thank the Thornton family, for using our services once again. Very sorry for your loss. And then they walk away awkwardly. But yes, Carol Danvers, it was just everything. The stance, the suit, her fucking suit, bro. I don't know who the fuck put her in that suit. But yeah, all of it screamed funeral director who has no emotional stake in this situation and is probably yawning like every 10 minutes. But is also very sorry for your loss. Yeah. Well, that was Endgame. I talked about this longer than I planned to. But emotions were felt. Tears were shed. I'm probably gonna think of a more upbeat outro. And we're done. I know there's really only one person who watches my videos. But even still, I appreciate anyone who watches this, who's watched the last video and this one. It is really just, my mom has been gone for like 2 years, 2.5 years, almost. And it wasn't up until this year, from May to now, that I began to process the fact that my mom isn't here. Because, fun fact, you can acknowledge something happened, or even quote unquote accept it, and still not process it. Which is what these past 2 years have been. Me acknowledging the fact that I no longer have a mother, that she's not here to help me through my darkest moments or even lift me up in my brightest ones. But I never stopped to process that she's gone. This is a way for me to do that. So if you came along with me on this journey of processing parental death, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I love you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye.